Mankind fought bravely. All can agree that this is so. Mankind fought tooth and nail for every inch of their world. They knew they weren't going to be given mercy by their enemy. This was a war of extermination. From the steaming jungles of Vietnam to the beaches and streets of Britain, from the cold lakes of Finland to the South African veld, humanity fought on. But not with all their knowledge of war, all their horrible weapons, chemical, biological, atomic, could they win. And when the last holdout, some few tribal humans on a small island, initially overlooked for its lack of technology, was annihilated, that was when the aliens declared their victory. They built their temples on Earth, raised their monuments, and sent their colonists. But Earth is old, and Earth is strange. Each tribe had their own gods, gods that coalesced into pantheons. Unlike the singular faith of the alien race, humanity had as many different faiths as there were ways to die, as many different gods as there were ways to love. And the death of a people does not equate to the death of their gods. Humanity had gods to spare, and their gods had been sleeping, waiting for various things. For some, it was the right time for the rapture. For some, it was the final battle. But all their waiting, planning, and schemes all became meaningless as they felt mankind die. Human gods are very human, and humans are fanatical. Didn't matter if they were shooting nuclear missiles or throwing spears. They would fight until there was nothing left of them. On the neutral continent of Antarctica, where no gods claim a home, the heads of the great pantheons met. Yahweh, Lord Shiva, Amaterasu, Odin, Quetzalcoatl, Amon-Ra, Ahura Mazda, Zeus, Danu, and many others. No other race has ever had as many gods as mankind. No other race probably ever will. And on that frozen continent, the gods swore an oath and bound themselves to a pact, an oath of vengeance. Thus the Sacrosanct Alliance was born. Gods usually do not interfere in the affairs of mortals. It is perhaps in small ways that they do. Rare indeed is the gods who do something big. Mostly, they take care of the souls of their followers, who by their faith empower the gods forever. But the weapons used by the alien invaders were more sinister than humanity had ever expected. The weapons, when used, would wound the target on this side of life and the next. And any soul struck down by the alien weapons would find themselves shackled to the alien god as its new slaves. Suffice to say, the purification of Earth was the first sign for the aliens, a race which by the decree of the Sacrosanct Alliance had been struck from all records for their crimes, might have made a mistake in exterminating humanity. The heads of the pantheons were the ones who committed that act. Each arose from their homes to avenge the Earth. Odin descended from Bifrost, the rainbow bridge atop mighty Sleipnir, flanked by his wolves Geri and Freki in the ruins of what had once been Uppsala. There he showed the aliens what he could with his mighty spear, and on every ruined street in the north one might find that every alien had been carved meticulously and precisely into the most terrible of sacrifices, the blood eagle. Around the drained Mediterranean Sea, thunder descended and struck invariably an alien body. Zeus would avenge his mortal descendants, which, considering time and his many offspring, was pretty much all humans in that region. Yahweh showed to the aliens what he had done unto Sodom and Gomorrah. In the lands of old Persia, Ahura Mazda's sacred flames burned every last alien to ash and cinders. The less said about what Quetzalcoatl did in Central America, the better. The purification was a bloody affair, a horrible one, and it was only the beginning. The sight of wrathful Thor riding his chariot across the skies, his hammer destroying continents, was something to behold. The madness of entire worlds falling into chaos and civil war as cunning Anansi weaved many tricks and lies was the envy of many spy masters. When the Olympians unleashed the monstrous creatures bound in Tartarus, worlds were destroyed. With nothing to fight over anymore, Odin unchained the terrible wolf Fenrir, who was sent to the homeworld of the aliens, and there the wolf swallowed their star. When they diverted Apophis upon worlds, giving Ra his first night of rest in eons, other alien races fled as they saw the absolute nightmare unleashed unto the offending empire. Their fleets were strong and their armies disciplined, but against the entire court of the Jade Emperor, his armies supported by Sun Wukong, who for once didn't need any convincing to do his part in the war, were superior. And to say nothing of the angelic legions, the very host of heaven descending from the Silver City to purge the wicked from the universe. At the very end, the human gods invaded the alien gods' sacred palaces, where the dead of extinct aliens served them and the alien souls forever as slaves. The harrowing of that court is still spoken of by alien gods, who learned, like their mortal worshippers, to fear the sound of the war that raged in the celestial spheres. There, the Einherjar and the Tuatha De Danann fought side by side. There stood mighty Tengri, and Ukko his axe held high. The alien god had many souls, but many slaves too. And there are gods of freedom too. Humanity have many gods, and there she strode during the battle, green and glorious, to the halls of enslaved souls. Holding her mighty torch up high, she freed the enslaved souls and gave them the chance to fight for mankind's gods, the Sacrosanct Alliance. The human souls all agreed, and many other souls belonging to countless extinct alien races also took up the call, binding themselves to the gods who had cared enough to go into battle for their followers. At the end, the gods were victorious. The alien souls were all destroyed, their mortal kingdom rendered into the dustbin of history, and even their names, their history, had been erased by the hand of Thoth. All who tried to learn would only learn of the fate of the alien god. Nameless and vile it was. And the human gods, seeing no purpose in their old prophecies, for there were no mankind left to fulfill them, bound the alien god. Sun Wukong rebuilt the mountain which had once been used to imprison him, and placed it atop the god. Odin took the chain Gleipnir, once used to bind unstoppable and enraged Fenrir, and bound the god with it. Zeus bound him with unbreakable bonds, and for good measure sent out an immortal eagle to eat the god's liver every day. And thus, every god came and bound the alien god in their ruined halls, bound them in their rage, for there to be an eternally screaming witness to the folly of the nameless aliens, as if their ruined worlds and dead spaceships weren't enough already. The gods returned to ruined Earth. There they cleansed the world of all alien influences and all the toxins which the humans had placed on it, restoring Earth to what it had been before mankind had arisen. When that was finished, the gods, now all allies and friends after the long years of righteous war, set up watchful gods to observe the Earth while the rest of the gods slept. For Earth was a world with boundless potential. It had produced mankind once, and it is always easier the next time. When a new species of sentient life would arise on Earth, the gods would be there to guide and teach these new creatures, as they had guided and taught mankind.